to Stock and Options Trading Unlocked.
If you want to learn how to make 6 or 7 figures a year trading 2 hours a day, this is the show for you.
We're here to talk about everything trading, weekly news, tips, and special guests to get you motivated and profitable.
Don't forget, everything you hear is opinion only and not to be considered financial advice.
Here are your hosts, Atul Patel and David Picard.
All right. How's everyone doing? Sorry, I think I transitioned to the wrong screen. Still learning how to do this. Okay, perfect. How's it going, David?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've got.
Are we live?
We are live. Welcome
Hello,
everyone.
everyone. What's cooking?
Welcome to our Stock and Options Trading Unlocked show. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I hope you're going to find this episode very informative.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So, what a day today. What were your thoughts?
I mean, honestly, what a good day to trade. I was a little bit short biased coming into it. So I think for me, I'm a little upset with myself. I missed the upside on SPY. Caught it with Amazon, but there was such a great opportunity after the first move to join that trend. And, I didn't catch it, but that's okay. Get it another time. I know you were able to you just crushed it today. Your pre-market prep calls were unbelievable.
Yeah. I wasn't sure also. I mean, I'll be completely upfront. I wasn't sure how it was going to play out, but I was mentally prepared to see one way or another. I didn't think we were going to stay where we were. I was like, we're either going this way or we're going the other way. And then we went up, and sure enough, like all the targets for the upside hit. Like so many just great trades and opportunities. But we got in early. I was done, 12% in 15 minutes. And my folks are visiting, so I just said, you know what? I'm going to leave runners, and I'm good to go.
That's the way to do it, right?
Yeah, well, except, when you go back, of course, you're going to have a little regret, because it could have been, instead of 12%, I looked back, and they were those, if properly managed, were really, I was actually, I'm also 6, so I'm following my rules, that I do have to, I need to not hold size the way I normally would if I'm sick. I'm, all that other stuff that you have going on, you got to do that. But, instead of 12, we were looking at 60-80% growth days. But there'll be more tomorrow, so I'm not sweating it.
Always.
The important thing is that when you're not well, having a process to make sure that, hey, even though if you've got to do this, you got to protect yourself. You got to protect your capital.
That's right. And I think recognizing that too is really important, and really important part of trading like a business, right? Where we know, hey, I'm not as fresh as I need to be, so I need to be careful. I need to be cautious. I need to lock in. And also you have family, and guess what? We trade to be able to enjoy life. So
exactly, right? And that that's what it's all about, right? So at the end of the day, there's this because I'm just being completely open and honest about how you feel about this stuff, but the plans all worked. The Amazon plan for that, even after it did the run, saying, hey, if it comes back, here's the buy price and here's the risk reward, using our techniques for like establishing where to enter. That worked out great, and then it got to the 2250 target. It was great. I loved it. Like $3 of risk and I think $20+ of gain. That's good stuff.
Yep, that's what got me green today after, like I said, my small little loss in SPY. Yeah. So it was a beautiful trade. I mean, it was wonderful.
Yeah. So it was a good day. I mean, it's completely a good day, and so my folks are sitting here listening. to the show. Sorry, I know it's a little bit darker than normal. I don't have the lighting in this and at home. But let's get into the show. Let's. There's like so much going on, and I really, really want to make sure we have enough time to cover the topic of the week around the business of trading. Right? It's time for stop treating it as a hobby, folks. Stop treating it as just a gamble, and start really building processes around your trading, so you just like you would if this was your business.
Right.
So we're gonna get into that a little bit. So let's do our first, like what we always like to do, which is our $1,000 bets. So let's get right into that. No, I'm sorry, Market Madness.
Up next, Market Madness.
All
right, Market Madness. So, everybody has been like, this last week was a little bit difficult because, we had the drop that we were looking for. It actually didn't get to the level that I wanted. I was looking for low 370s. We got to 380, and then I think we got a higher low at 385 maybe. On SPY, and I think the sellers got exhausted. Right, it's the third dip down. Sellers kind of got exhausted. Everyone's so bearish, and when you start getting everyone so bearish, you gotta be ready for days like today, and that's the fuel. Right.
I feel like this is kind of what we talked about. I want to say maybe a week or so ago, where we said we're going to see some vicious rips, right? With these yanks, you're going to also get big rips, good range.
Yeah, the bear market rally. So we'll see about tomorrow if it follows through, because if it does, we might be in for a pretty bullish leg before the next leg down. I'm not talking for weeks on end. I'm thinking maybe 3 to 7 days, 3 to 10 days of buying.
Okay.
But if today's bid is lost tomorrow, we're gonna drop a lot more and a lot harder than people are prepared for.
Everyone who got long into this thinking this is the buy the dip is gonna bye.
Yeah, they'll get flushed out.
And be running.
So we'll see how it goes. But right now I'm kind of watching dips for more upside to get tested. And so yeah, but yeah, crazy market. When you prep and prepare for these moves, that you can get some pretty great gains. I think one of our numbers.
Call on Amazon, Tesla. You've had a bunch of good calls today.
Oh, today was easy. I love momentum like this. Today was easy. All right. The voices are out of sync and laggy. Okay, that might be my fault today, guys. I'm gonna see if I can move the location, and let me see if I can go closer to the router if that helps. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I can't get any closer. I'm right next to the router now. And it got a lot of sun. So I might be squinting a little bit. Okay, let me know, guys. Is this any better?
Sunman, any better?
Okay, let's see if we can. Let me just ask right here, because it's probably a couple seconds lag or delay. Is the lag solved? Still lagging? All right, so we'll just go ahead and assume that it is better. Otherwise, we'll see if the video editors can do their magic and bring it into sync. But let's keep going.
Another thing that I think was interesting that happened was, everything with the Fed. It was a whole lot of pipe. It felt like not too much, right?
Yeah.
Not too much reaction, really. I mean, there were some quick bars, but it didn't really move the markets. So I don't know if that was all priced in, and everyone's kind of expecting them to just kind of follow through.
Yeah, I think so. The Fed, I mean, they actually it was more negative, right? I mean, it was just saying that hey, they might have to do more and accelerate more, but I think with that you have to look for these short squeezes, right? What is so if the obvious play is to go short, maybe do the opposite. It's right, and it's a bit of an art form learning that. It is to recognize that, but that's where having the levels and knowing how to do risk reward come in, and it becomes less. You're just kind of like, hey, this is what I should be doing.
And to me, it was it felt like very choppy. I was able to stay out of it just because it didn't seem like we were going to get the move.
Yeah.
I usually like to watch actually the first move that happens to like react as much as I would like to after that.
Yeah. There's definitely some great opportunity. I am seeing some connection drops from here, even though I'm closer to the router now.
Yeah, it's a little bit now. I'm getting the lag on you now from you now.
It's really kind of makes no sense. But let's power through it. And what I'm also going to do is start recording this locally from here, so that way we have both versions, and then the hopefully we'll get it merged properly. Okay, so let's talk about $1,000 bets. I was under the weather, so don't have the
Up next, $1,000 bets.
So let's talk about the $1,000 bets. There were quite a few this last week. I don't have the charts for today, but this morning we have the Tesla 700 calls,
$3,
and at $3, and so. If you were going to do $1,000 bet, that means you're going to, hey, I can buy 3 contracts, $900.
Yeah.
Right. And then my target on this, if you use the levels, were I think it was 720 and 750, or I think those were the levels I had. I have to remember. I don't remember.
You had 710, I believe.
710. Okay.
700 and 710.
Okay.
Because I mean, you got into that way low. I mean, if I remember, it was like that 664 reclaim VWAP.
Exactly.
The 664 level reclaim VWAP, first target 680,
680,
then 700, then 710.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a massive move.
And so my target on this was essentially my wish target on this was $20 on the 700 calls. 20, right? My initial goal was 6, 9, and then 20. That's roughly what I was looking for out of this. And those all hit. We planned for the 680, what the pricing was going to be when it hit that, and then that 700 as well. And then it all just played out.
Yeah, they peaked around $25 on those contracts.
Yeah. So for $1,000 on that, if you just held for the say 700 target, I think at 700 it should have been 16 or 18. I don't have the charts in front of me, but
I got it in front of me. Yeah, they were about 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about $16.
Oh, that's cool.
15 to 16.
Yeah. So but I wasn't even looking at charts today. I was out, doing the family stuff and actually being a little sick and sleeping, but yeah, so it's nice when that kind of works out. And the way I kind of look at this is, yeah, I mean, it's $1,000. Say that you just got that 16, right? Don't worry about the 2025. But the potential here off those was basically 16 times 3 contracts. That's at $4,500, $5,100 minus your 600. So $4,500 of profit using $1,000 if you held for the 700 level or target. You know, and then 20, it all just goes up, well, you know, up and beyond that. But, you know, between $4,000 and $6,000 was very achievable on that plan or idea using $1,000. So really obscene risk reward.
Yeah, and that wasn't the first time we played the Tesla 700 calls, if I remember.
No,
I think we did earlier in the week. We got them for $3 again and rode them up to 7.
Yeah, the interesting thing, there was some really interesting 740 call flow yesterday. And
I remember hearing that called out.
Yeah, and so that was around $1 or 90 cents, and it went up to $1.70. And then by yesterday, I think it came back down, or this morning it was like 50 cents or 60 cents.
Yeah.
Well, when I looked at it sometime midday, those contracts hit $5 plus. So for a 10 bagger.
It's amazing.
That's that's some pretty neat stuff if you plan for that opportunity. And then you look at the, like, one of the tips I'm going to share is if you know, we got our friends at Black Box Stocks, they have option flow, and you know, if you use that option flow, look for discounts. Like if you really like that flow, and then, you know, if they're buying tons of it at $1 and you can get it for 50 cents and you still think the idea is valid, why not go for it? Right? Make sure that the price action and everything else kind of fits in. But
still a valid idea.
It's still a valid idea, but I mean, don't there, you know, use your risk management processes around that. But there's some great opportunities that you can also find by digging in where money's buying.
Oh yeah.
So let's also what other $1,000 bets did we have?
Amazon 2200s. Pick those up for, I think, about $950, so $950 for one contract.
Yep.
Risk about 50%, right?
Yep, risk
those
$500.
About $27. I think that was yesterday as well.
Right, but if you swung it, right? Yesterday that hit 27. Today they hit 50 plus.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So the target was that 2250. We were looking for that 2200 to break. 2200 was a huge level on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that crossed, I was like, this is flying. So if you missed the trade earlier, you can always look at those key levels for a new entry. All right, let's get into is there any other 1K bets you might want to go over?
I think you also had there was a great call out on Best Buy, right? After the earnings. I think it was the 76.
Oh, yeah. I said it's
$50 to $4.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I bread and butter. Bread and butter.
It's such a super reasonable play. Exactly. It's just, you know, just base hits day in and day out. So what a great trade that was.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
right?
for those that know me and have been around, they know how my reads on the price action after earnings are. And that was like that's a bread and butter play for me.
We have a name for you.
What is that?
Zoltar.
Oh.
Your new favorite name. Your new favorite.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit out there and I'm gonna get the hat and start getting predictions.
After you made that image, that's it.
I don't remember what kicked that off, but there was something that was like a ridiculously great prediction, and it played out. Oh no, it was that Zoom short, right? I think that was the one that I was super excited about.
That was gorgeous.
Like $1 to $10 to $12 inside of a week.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because I don't swing, right? Also, it's like I'm not a swing trader, generally speaking. But sometimes I like insane risk reward. So, well, let's get into
Every once in a while I swing.
Yeah, once in a while gotta yeah.
Those were some great $1,000 bets this week, right? With a great, I think, variety of range from, you know, costs, different instruments we looked at, right? Which is one of the things we love, that, you know, you can apply this to a $20 instrument, or you could use a $2,000 instrument like Amazon.
Yeah.
And it's just the rinse repeat process, the business of trading that, we go through every day in and out.
Yep. Here, I'm gonna see if maybe I can maybe it's some weird CPU issue.
Do you still having issues?
Yeah, I'm seeing like sometimes you were laggy and chopping up, and so I'm just quitting out a bunch of apps, and hopefully then that'll be better. Okay. Yeah, because stop. The video is just lagging and stopping for some reason. So I think there's also a problem with Zoom. Yeah, so sorry about all the issues here today. So let me go back to the normal spot and then see if, because we weren't having this behavior there. And then from now on, I'll just promise to go to my office. It's really strange because I got a huge, or I just get the network cable plug in directly to the router. All right. Looks
I'm
like
wired up.
Okay, cool. Let's keep going. We've got
Let's do it.
the big one.
Up next, tip of the week.
Big one.
Yep.
Tell me about it.
So let's talk about the business of trading. My throat's sore. So David, I'm going to let you run a lot of this. Just tell me next, and I'll go through the slides.
You want me to run it?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Do we have slides? I think you
had.
had.
Yeah, can you see the slides?
No, I can't.
Well then I will.
Go ahead. Let me see. I'm happy to do this.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
roll.
I'll go ahead and lead into it. Let me send you the link to the
tip of the week. All right, the business of trading. I'm seeing stuff come across now. It's just a little delayed.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys. So, one of the most important things, I look at, and almost everyone I talk to thinks about trading as a hobby, right? And why? You're playing with money. So I always, people talk about it, they'll say, hey, me and my friends, we're all doing this. And is there a system? Is there some management behind it? Hey, did you just hear something from a friend? Did you see a Twitter tip? You know what I mean? Why are we doing things? Don't do this as a hobby. This isn't gambling. If you want to gamble, go to the casino, have fun with your friends, your wife, your family, right? We want to do this as a business. So what does that mean? That means we need a plan, right? Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah. So, can you hear me?
Now I can, yeah.
Okay, great. So that's basically it, right? Stop treating it as a hobby. Stop treating it as feeding your gambling addiction if you have one. Trading is really a business, and and one that can be incredibly lucrative if you put the processes in place and execute against those processes. Trust your processes to be good, or get some additional help or mentoring about the processes you need, right? Don't think of it as because what happens is you without, like, if you had a business that was selling everything and doing everything for everyone, do you think that business is going to succeed?
Absolutely not. You need to focus. Right. You need to do something really well, right? If you try to do everything, you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, it's because you're not going to be, you're going to spend stuff in the
proficient
learning,
right?
Your proficiency is going to be there. So the point I'm trying to get at is stop chasing everything. Don't chase, plan. But really spend some time going through your trades to go, hey, what am I really good at? Right? Yeah. And then start building process around that. So you should now be able to see that you want to make sure that you have in place. Do you want to go for that?
Yeah. So, different business processes, right? Let's think about this. When we're talking about trading, what does that look like as a business? And so these are just some of the things that we need to talk about. You need a plan, right? So at the end of every year, I kind of look back through my year and I create, hey, next year's plan. What does that look like to me? Now, that includes everything we have here and the kind of how, what, why about it. So what's my growth plan look like, right? What's my risk management going to be? How am I going to go about that? Right? What am I going to look at every day? How do I form my daily watch list? Right? Trading plans. Right? How am I going to create a plan? Then how do I turn that into actually the trade process? Right? And then how do I go back and analyze that to say, how did I do? Right? Was the setup there? Was I chasing? Was it a good trade? Did I execute well? And hey, it's okay. I took a loss. Like my SPY trade today. I took a small loss. That's okay. It was part of my plan. And I was able to recoup and ended up green on the day because guess what? My next trade covered that and some. Because that's all part of my plan is I know my setup is, hey, I only need to hit a certain win rate to be flat or green. And if I even do halfway decent on the day, I'm going to be doing awesome. And just because that's the way I set myself up for success. And I think reviewing is a huge part of that. I like to take a big part of my end of month and go over a more in-depth than I do on the daily. For me, I do a lot on the daily, but I think my monthly is my biggest review. Do you have anything you want to add before we go to the next one and talk a little more in depth about this stuff?
No, we'll go ahead. I think let's jump right into it. All right.
All right. Let's see what we got.
The next one is the growth plan. So when you're going to start a business, you kind of want to have an idea of where you're, it's not, I mean, at least for me, I don't just start one without knowing where I want to at least end up. Not necessarily where and I'm, like reasonable growth plans and targets of, is it worth even doing the business, right? If so you want to have a growth plan, like, okay, how long will it take to get to where? And then backfilling that to how are you going to get there, right?
Yep.
What do the trades look like? So this is trading. Okay, now it's okay. This is come back down to, okay, well, if I want to get to this kind of growth, what kind of trades do I need a day or a week or a month to help me get to those goals, right? And does that particular trade setup happen enough to meet my growth objectives? If it doesn't, I might need to look for a different trade setup, right? Quote unquote, a different product or service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like any business, right? You want to kind of plan out, hey, what do I want this to be? And then how are we going to get there, right? And then you're back checking it as he's talking about going, hey, is this valid, right? Does this make sense? Is what I'm planning line up here, right? Is that the growth trajectory that I'm going to get from this?
Yeah, is there enough supply of that? Then, just like any other business, you kind of need to make sure that you have some risk management protocols in place, right? And so you should be seeing the slide here any second now.
Still on the growth plan, it'll come in a sec. Risk management's one of my favorites. It is. And I think it goes hand in hand too, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about risk management, right? I think it goes hand in hand with the growth plan. And we're talking about how we're going to get to where we want to go. But in this, we know, hey, just like any business, there's a risk, right? Whether it's you have a grocery store, a pizza joint, and you're buying, right? You're buying your raw materials, or you're buying your food that you're going to sell. There's potential expiration date. Hey, just like there's expiration date on options, guys. And guess what? They can go to zero. So, there's risk in all this. So we want to manage that. Now, how do we talk about that? We want to look at that in 3 different ways, okay? One, we want to talk about risk per trade. We want to talk about risk on the day, and we want to talk about allocation. I know those are three separate things that you really want to nail into, okay? Those are going to help you manage your capital properly, your trade properly. And when you dive into this, it is critical you follow your rules and plan and don't break it. Because if you do, your growth plan will not be coming to fruition. Because think about it, you're going against what you set up, what you planned, what you analyzed that should work. So when we break rules, this is why it's a big problem, right? So remember, your risk management is number one. We are not at a hedge fund. You're not at a prop fund. There's no risk manager to close and shut your account down on the day and tell you to go home and we'll see you tomorrow, right? So you have to be your risk manager, okay? So guys, risk per trade, risk on the day, and the capital allocation. Critical.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to manage that risk. Go ahead.
No, I was saying absolutely. Make sure you've got those things covered. If you haven't done it yet, write it down right now. What do you think?
Talk to us.
Yeah, or reach out to us, right? But So let's.
Anything you want to add there? Sorry.
No. That's it. Let's head over to the daily watch list. So part of this.
This one you should cover,
yeah, I'll cover
because
that.
honestly, for me, like a great example is yesterday, right? Busy. I have a 20-day-old daughter, and I don't get to do my own homework as much as I used to. So I count on you and your watch list and your pre-market prep to give me the plans for my day. I was able to only trade an hour yesterday. That's all I had. It gives me the goods and the tools.
You still had a
that I
good
need
day
to get it
yesterday, I
done.
believe, if I remember seeing your. Didn't you have like a good day yesterday?
It was all right. It was super solid. It was double digits.
Yeah, good.
Today
Okay.
was okay. 4%. I can't complain. It's a solid day. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's a solid day.
So the daily watch list. So when we come down to a business, each business will have a different, different procedures that they need for identifying their opportunities for the business, right? And in our world of trading, we use a watch list, right, to help go, hey, where are the trade opportunities for our style of trading? And so, one of the things that when as part of your trading business is you want to go, hey, I need a daily watch list. What am I going to look at today? And then you've got to answer the questions of, hey, how are you going to make this list? Or are you going to use someone else's list? They're all valid, right? I mean, I purposely developed the process for the 2-hour trader so that we're producing this list for you so that you can actually live and work less than 2 hours a day and live the rest of your life. So you're not doing all the due diligence and research that we do, right? But it's so valid. Now, if you want to do it
What
yourself,
time do you get up to do that?
like a couple hours before market when I get up. And
You're being way too shy.
no, I mean I get up way early.
You get up early to crank this stuff out.
And but yeah, but going through figuring out what's the pre-market action, how's the market reacting to any news overnight or whatever. But the point, the key point around the list is having I'm a big believer in planning trades, right? And so by having a list and having the levels that we create for the list, I can make plans. So based on the price action during the day, I'm not scrambling. I already know exactly what to do when things happen. And then also part of making the watch list is, hey, is the list of stocks meeting your criteria, right? So you have to have some criteria around the list of stocks that, are these too pricey? Are the option contracts, are these too pricey for my budget? Or is there typically enough room or range in this? Or is this kind of like it only, when it moves a lot once every 5 days or once every month? Is there a catalyst, right? We're in momentum. If you're a momentum trader. Um, the the So you want to make sure that whatever goes on your list meets the criteria. Liquidity. Okay, if you're a bigger trader, if you've got $1 million plus account, right, you're going to want to make sure that the liquidity is there to handle the size of the contracts you might want to get the kind of returns you want. Okay.
Absolutely don't want.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's a reason I transitioned from SPY to SPX when I'm trading, is when I'm sizing into my full size of my main account. Okay. It's because if I'm doing a certain amount of contracts, I don't want to get block ordered with different prices. I want to try and get out as fast as I can, so I'm not tipping the market maker on the way out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the other issue there is also the transaction costs, some of the fees, right? And depending upon the volume of trading you're doing, that you want to make sure that the instrument you're using is advantage to you. Then, with making the watch list, how much effort does it take, right? I mean, do I really want to spend 2 hours of my day doing this, or an hour, or 3 hours, or whatnot? And you have to decide that for yourself, right? And sometimes it's just worth having experienced eyes to give you a list, and it just saves you a ton of time. And for what's moving. And then finally, as you use the whatever watch list, if it's something that you produce yourself or use ours, you want to make sure you kind of evaluate how well is it performing. Is it identifying great opportunities for what's moving, and what's where to buy and where to sell. Right? You want to make sure that the whatever your watch list is giving you great opportunities. It's almost kind of think of it as your sales guy. Right, it's going and generating your marketing guy going and generating leads. Are the leads good? So that's the watch list. Let's move on to the next topic. Trade planning. This is very dear to my heart. Yeah, I'm gonna let's let screens kind of catch up a little bit in case there's a lag between what we're saying.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for that, one of the most beautiful things that I've found is with your watch list produced, right? When I kind of looked and I got rid of all the noise around my trading, is I got hyper focused, right? And I don't even look, honestly, I don't anymore. I stopped looking at the whole watch list. I just go, hey, these are the ones I'm going to focus on for me. But like I take that watch list and I make my plans.
Yeah.
Based on it, and I go, that's all I need to look at. I don't need more, because I know I'm gonna have a good setup or two here. And part of my plan and I limit my rules is, hey, I'm only allowed a certain number of trades a day, and with that they better be A+. And it doesn't mean they have to work out, but I have to execute them well, right? And I know based on that.
And you've been getting double digits. You've been getting double-digit gains for like 2 or 3 times a week since you've adopted that.
It's a game changer, and that's why it's very important for me. Like, and a lot of the people who I'm coaching, I say, guys, let's focus. Like, what do you know? Just focus on it. Make your plan. Get good at that. We don't need to be good at everything, like you were just talking about, honestly.
Yeah.
Now talk about trade planning. Tell us a little bit about it.
So
For a few.
So what is a trade plan? It's what goes into it. So you want to make sure you define a thesis. I believe that the XYZ ticker is going to go to X, some price, and then why will I be getting in? Right, so it's like my thesis is that this is going to go up or down and toward some particular price point. Then you're going, does the opportunity match my business rules and criteria? Right? Is there enough reward for the risk? So you don't want it just to be, at least I don't believe a valid plan is one that just says, oh, it's going to go up or it's going to go down, and then I'll just see whatever it does. For me, I'm more like why is it that I can actually hit numbers that are crazy? It's because I've planned it out, right? I've kind of got the rules and criteria going, hey, I believe that if I am right, this will go here, here, and here. And if those targets are met, I'm going to be able to sell my product for, or my contract for certain prices. And so that's all part of the plan, right? Done early. And then, what's the setup look like? Like, what are the criteria for what does it look like for me to enter? What does it look like for me to exit? And having that kind of process defined and planned out, right? Some days my exits are, hey, I'm gonna have a trailing stop. So depending on the such situation, and other days it's gonna be, hey, as long as I don't get stopped out, I'm gonna let this ride for the day, right?
Absolutely.
I know, it's gonna, and then obviously I'm gonna have sell orders at my main key levels or targets to take some off, but I'm gonna have a plan. Why am I going to exit? Why am I not? Sometimes the best thing to do is to do nothing after your entry and go, look, I'm either going to lose my planned amount, maybe $500 or $5,000.
I'm going to win it.
Or I'm going to win, and on some of those days, those are going to be monster. You're actually going to do better by putting your stop orders in, putting some take profit orders in, and walking away and doing nothing else. Stop getting in your way. And that can be part of your plan, right? The point of, it's my plan to not do anything else, right? On this particular trade, and you gotta know that how you're gonna execute.
For sure. And one thing I just want to add, when you're making a plan, guys, if you make a plan in the morning pre-market, and then the market opens, you watch the first 15 minutes, you watch the first 30 minutes of action. It's okay to adjust your plan to that action, by the way. Do not adjust when you're in a trade. That's different, okay? But if you see, hey, you know what? Maybe this feels like a T1 type of day, meaning it's going to be, more range and it's not, it's going to be range bound and it's not going to trend as much, okay? Does that make sense? So I'm going to, make sure to take a little more of my profits early. Maybe instead of taking a third off, I'm going to take half, okay? And then see if we get the breakout and run. Does that make sense? So I just want to add that it's okay to make adjustments based on the action we're seeing, because if you're
once
like
you're
myself,
in the plan, once you're in the trade, let it go. Let it do what
let
you
it go.
want.
Absolutely.
Trust yourself. Believe in yourself.
Believe in it. Exactly.
Yeah.
But remember, it's okay to watch that action, right? Because I often will change going, hey, I've watched 15 minutes. Now, before I get in this trade, here's my new plan.
Yeah. And speaking to that, believing in yourself or your plan, you should not be stressed because of your sizing. You already know what what many are doing is you're sizing too big. I actually didn't include that in the trade plan, but your sizing should be part of that, because if you're sizing too big and you're stressed about your trade, you're not going to let it work, and you're going to be trading to not lose instead of trading to win. Right?
That's included in, does the trade opportunity match my business rules and criteria to me? Because that's risk management, right?
Yeah.
And so it is. But also, let's think about this, guys. Here's a tip. I'm going to give you a bonus tip. And this came from a coaching call with someone where, we were reviewing a trade, and their thesis was, let's call it, I'm going to be short Tesla as long as it doesn't go over 700. However, the way they set up their trade, they ended up getting stopped out, and it never went to even 700. So they were sized too big that it wasn't planned appropriate, right? So it didn't really match their thesis. So make sure you're sizing to match your thesis. Make sure your plan matches what you're actually thinking is going to happen. And I know it sounds like that should be obvious, but sometimes it's not when the market's moving and you're in the middle of trading, okay? So, hey, if this is my plan, make sure that trade that you're, planning out.
You have executed matches your risk management.
And entries, exits, all of them. Yep, you got it.
Right. And so this all, kind of goes toward the next step is, so we had the planning part, and we started talking a little bit about the trade process, right? So the planning is kind of around, the thesis, the sizing, the where's it going to go, the price action, all that. Now we're going into the actual process of it, right? What is your process for getting into the thing? How am I getting in? Am I going to be doing a manual order? Am I going to be creating a prepped order earlier where it's saved the order quantity and stock and option contract is pre-saved in your trading platform, and then you're just updating the price and hitting send instead of looking up the option change. And that's like, what is the process of how are you even getting in? Then what are you using for the criteria for getting in, right? And then how long do you even expect to be in the trade? Is this a trade that I'm planning on being 6 minutes or 3 hours or 2 hours or an hour or all day or 3 days? Like, you should have an idea, and don't be like suddenly changing your planned trade. Like, I've seen tons of people do this. They're in the trade, it goes against them, they're not stopping out, and now suddenly this trade goes from, and it's in options, and they might be in weekly contracts, and suddenly they're changing it from doing that to now it's a swing trade because they didn't want to take the loss. And then, sometimes it works out where holding it works out and pays you more, and then other times, you lose everything. But
zero.
you don't want to be changing plans unless there's some really, really good reason that you should, right? Instead, you should have how long should it take? When am I going to get in? What's going to keep me in the trade? When should I be taking profit? When should I be taking, going ahead and say, I was just wrong, and I'm going to take the loss, right? So you want to have that all well defined in your business. So I know there's a lot to cover, but don't be haphazard. This is about your trading. Like, treat it as a business. Then finally, the key next step is around trade reviews, right? So in a business, you've got your planning, then you have your execution on a project. Then if you want to do better the next time you have a project or a service that you're performing, you want to review it, right? What could you have been done better, differently? How is your business performing? How are the processes performing? What improvements can be made? What is absolutely not working, right? Sometimes it's going to happen, and then but you don't want to. You want to be properly evaluating it. If you take a trade and one trade, the setup just didn't work that one time, and you go, oh, this process is horrible, or this setup, you're going to shoot yourself because then you're going to be chasing different theories or setups or processes all over the place, and you're never going to get anywhere. You can't say that something is broken after one time. Depending on what the issue is, right? You want to have it evaluate over a series, right? There could be some things where you can evaluate and go, look, I just never put a stop order in, and it always goes to zero. Or, I can never perform a mental stop and follow through on a mental stop. Okay, that is something then that if you've had it over a period of times or a couple times, you can go, okay, look, I know I need to do something about that. Right? But that's the kind of stuff, you need to go. I'm always chasing. Okay, I'm always using market orders. Okay, instead I need to be doing limit orders. Okay, how am I going to make sure that I'm doing limit orders? So you want to go through and review how you're trading and see where you can make improvements, because all these little improvements add up to your business being more successful. David, do you want to add anything to trade reviews?
So, I think you hit on all the points at a general level. One thing that 90+% of the time find with myself and with others when doing these reviews, you will find small little tweaks by doing this over and over, and you'll say, hey, if I just would have avoided this would have been the result. And then you can go and make those actual changes, because when you see the impact it actually would have had, meaning, hey, if I wouldn't have broken the rule and moved my stop or added to the trade when it should have been invalidated and stopped for a small loss, I would have avoided this, right? Or trusted my plan and let it play out, I would have got this, right? Then you start to actually make those changes. So it's so important to take the time to do this, guys. Soak up what you're finding in there and try to implement it. And you don't have to go crazy. One small change a week can go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Focus on one, maybe two things.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys a tip that I believe is worth easily $100,000. Okay? Eliminate your bad trades, because it can improve your account growth by easily over 500%. Right? Because think about it, every time you're taking a bad trade, a off the hip trade, and you lose, you have to do double the work. Because not only are you trying to make back the money that you lost with less capital, and you're taking on more risk, which could end up you getting make it back-itis, hurting your account even more. Just eliminate doing bad trades. Stop taking the trades that you know you shouldn't be, and you're just doing it anyways for whatever reason, right? So just stop doing those bad trades, right? Eliminating bad trades, reducing the number of trades you take can have a huge positive impact, right? Getting yourself under self-control. So basically, and the way to really, really start understanding, like what I had to do for me to really start recognizing this, was I had to track my over trading losses, right? So what I would do is go through for at the end of the week and go, okay, I might be positive on the week, but how many of these trades were over traded that I should never have taken, and what did that cost me? And guys, it turned out to be a really big number for me that I had no clue until I started really adding that up. I'm like, okay, I'm not positive, but if I just eliminated, just stop doing this nonsense, I would be so much further ahead, right? So this is easily a 100K tip. Track your over trading losses. Start building a reason for you to stop over trading, right? Whatever you need to do to recognize that, this is over trade. This is not a planned trade. This is not what I should be doing, right? This is not serving my business, right?
Like spending time with that really terrible customer. Really just a pain in your rear. And by the time you're done, you've spent so much time that, it's not worth your time.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe you're attracting a lot of the bad kind of customers for your business, right? And because you're kind of like, hey, it's okay. Like I just want to, I'm lonely at my job. Let's just say I'm lonely at my business, so I don't care who comes in. I'm going to hang out with them. No, that's not going to get your business to where you want it to be. You want to attract the business, the opportunity, the clients that are going to serve you best, right? And you're gonna serve them well too, right? And that's what you want. That's going to get you where you want to go, not this other stuff. That's where you got to look into yourself to see what is it that you're over trading. What is this other thing that's driving you to do the things you shouldn't be doing, right? So there's so many different ways of changing behavior, right? In one case, it could be greed. What am I doing all this stuff because it's costing me all this? Like that could be profit in my pocket, right? And so say that you're averaging $5,000 a week, but your over trading losses were 15 grand, right? I've seen that, and then it's like, wait. So if all I did was just stop doing the things I'm not supposed to be doing, I could be having 20 grand weeks. I mean, think about that, right? Is my need for that connection with another trade worth that extra 15 grand a week? Ask yourself that. Is the need for me to take another trade just to do something because I feel like I need to be busy worth what it's costing you each week? Really think about that, guys. Okay? Stop over trading. Plan your trades. Go be the great traders that you are and deserve to be. right? So
That'll limit your number of trades. You're going to take better trades. You're forcing yourself to do it.
Yeah. And then so finally, so you heard a few things about David talking about him coaching and myself coaching folks. Um, so this one of the solutions out there is you don't need from scratch. Okay, you absolutely do not need to start from scratch when you want to build your trading business. You can start your 2-hour trading business if that sounds interesting to you, where you can trade for a couple of hours and consistently make great gains. Won't be necessarily every day, but we have some pretty amazing trades and gains that happen regularly. Our members that they're executing their 2-hour trading business. So if you want that, you don't need to start from scratch. Reach out to us. Reach out to David, reach out to myself, send us a Twitter message or a YouTube message or something, or go over to edmomo.com/THT.
Got a fresh account. Follow me, options_Dave.
Yeah, you can.
Shameless plug right there.
Please follow Options Dave on Twitter, and guys, we're here to help you, right? We want to see some amazing traders develop and come out of our process and program. Where I had one of the most amazing messages this week. So as part of our trading process or our business of teaching people how to become better traders, we have like these questionnaires each week going, hey, how's it going? What did you do? And what were the results? And so one of our newer students, after a couple weeks, 8 trades. I think it was 8 trades, right?
So
I think it was 8 trades, 80% win rate, 80 or 90% win rate. So whatever, I think it must have only lost once.
Sure. 90% win rate.
Okay.
8 trades and 139,000 in profits. Average win was about 20K.
And the average loss?
About 6.
Yeah. So guys, the trades that we develop, the ideas that we plan out, you can crush it, right? But there's a lot of skill. You have to really build your processes around your business, around your risk management. He was following his plan for what he's willing to risk per trade, and then using the techniques that we have for the opportunities, was able to crush it, right? And so it's very, very possible for you to do incredible work, very, very possible to get to your first 100K, maybe in a couple weeks. Normally, I would like to say six months, but or 2 months. It's amazing, right? And I love seeing the growth people have, and your scale could be different. Think about it, same situation, but on a $10,000 account, right? That would be roughly that'd be turning a 10K account into like 50 grand, give or take, in a couple weeks, right? So it's very, very possible, very doable. But you got to learn the skills. You got to believe in yourself. You got to you have to build your business, trust in it, trust in your processes. So I'm going to leave with that. I want to say thank you for coming and watching us. After I'm going to switch to the outro, and you can you'll see recent trade results or daily results from our members there. So if you're kind of curious about, hey, what is it that folks are doing? This is coming right from our results that we share with each other within our community. We anonymize to the people's names, but they're all unedited results beyond their name coming out of that results room. So Yeah, so go and check it out. And thank you for watching the show, everyone. Hope you found it helpful.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, guys. See you next week.